Hi, welcome to the cost of avoidance module 2. So while I'm just waiting for this, I'm just going to share this. I've got to figure out how to share it, so bear with me 1 second while I post it on the WhatsApp group and the Facebook group. Here we go. And also on the Facebook group. So if you are joining this broadcast here, welcome for module 2, the avoidance coaching mentoring program. Let's get this onto here. Here we go. And close that. So hi everyone, thank you for being patient. Module 2, cost of avoidance. My name is Adam Ahmed, coaching and mentoring. You'll find me at the website adamahmed.co.uk. I'll also have a link tree and I'll share that later on, but I want to get into the actual content here. It might be a slightly shorter broadcast than usual. I think 15 minutes might be more than enough. If you go onto the website, under avoidance program, the information's all on there, and today we're going to focus on the cost of avoidance module 2. There should have been a hyperlink to that. Let's try and refresh that, see if that refreshes. If not, you can go to the blog and click on the cost of avoidance and it will come up. So let's go into that a little bit closer. So last week, because this is an in-person workshop on Saturdays for 2 hours with a small group where I share the information and we actually go through the exercises and discuss it in a small group, and there's a lot of benefit on working through things in a small group. You bounce off each other and you face up to things that you might be hiding from, avoiding almost to a degree. So we follow up the Saturday session with a Monday presentation and then a Wednesday Zoom check-in. In module 1, we defined avoidance and had a look at how it shows up in your life and began identifying the areas where you might be sidestepping important but uncomfortable tasks. That foundation is crucial. Awareness always comes first, just about in any area of life. When you want to make change, awareness is where it starts. In module 2, we're going to take the next step and we're going to understand the cost of avoidance. A lot of the time, the avoidance is a relief in the short term, but the cost of it over the long term deprives us of the benefits and rewards of taking action, putting the effort in. Avoidance doesn't just delay discomfort, it actively shapes our future in subtle ways. We don't notice it until months or years later. I use health as an example. Putting on a stone, 2 stone, does not happen instantly. You don't just suddenly wake up and you've put on 2 stones. It happens in ounces, a small ounce here and there over time. In 2 weeks you put a pound on, over a month you put a few pounds on. So it really does add up, and that's what we're going to have a look at, the cost of avoidance of taking certain actions or not taking action. So the module is designed so that you can connect your decisions and actions that you take or do not take in the present to the consequences of that over the longer term in terms of your health, money, relationships and opportunities. Everything adds up, compounds up, either into a positive or into a negative. We're going to have a look at the cycle of avoidance, because this is a learned behavior, it's a conditioned behavior. The more you practice avoidance, the more conditioned it becomes in your mindset, in your thinking, and it becomes a pattern, and it can fuel frustration, and that frustration in itself can lead to half-hearted effort, and it can create more avoidance. The quicker we learn how to break this cycle of avoidance and start putting ourselves onto a more positive upward path, then we can move ourselves towards the rewards. So understanding that avoidance doesn't just cost you in terms of effort, it robs you of rewards, growth, and satisfaction. Learning how your emotions affect you and clarity on why change truly matters can help you commit more deeply to breaking free of this cycle of avoidance. So by the end of this module, there's different ways to get motivated. There's something called away from patterns and towards patterns. Away from patterns are things that bring you pain, and you get to the point where the pain is so strong that you almost force yourself to take action. Towards patterns are when you think about the results that you want to achieve and you move towards them. Sometimes recognizing the cost of avoidance, which is what we're doing right now, the pain of avoidance, the pain of not doing something, we're going to try and anchor that into effort and drive you forward. So let's have a look at part one. Avoidance, its life consequences. Avoidance very rarely feels destructive in the moment because we get conditioned to it, and sometimes that downside of it, thinking that we've got more than enough time to deal with something, means we can push something off into the future. Procrastination is a type of avoidance. So when you put off that phone call, delay working on a report, skipping a difficult conversation, you usually feel short-term relief. It's a relief of stress. But every time you avoid something, you're making a trade. You're buying short-term comfort in exchange for the long-term cost of that. Imagine you had a credit card, and every time you avoided something, you took money off that credit card. And in the moment, it might not seem like a lot, taking £10 out here and there. Or let's say it's in a bank account and you had an emergency fund, you take bank accounts out. Every time you take something out, it depletes and it adds up. And that's what happens with avoidance in our life. It's that accumulative effect where the cost of something just adds up so much. In health, and I always start with health. If you don't have health, everything else you're chasing is diminished considerably. It's one of the easiest areas where avoidance shows up. We avoid going to the doctor for checkups. We put off exercise because it feels uncomfortable in the moment. We don't want to go on a diet or nutrition plan because we enjoy comfort eating, the taste of food. So in the moment, avoiding these tasks means less hassle, it's less effort, less discomfort, but over time the consequences compound. Small health problems go unchecked, they become serious. Lack of exercise contributes to fatigue, low mood, and long-term disease risk, and that contributes to avoidance again in itself. And poor diet creates a slow but steady decline in energy and well-being. And if there's anything I can say to you, managing energy is one of the core principles of success. Without energy, you cannot do much at all. So avoidance, and we talked about this word in the workshop, steals vitality. A lot of people don't connect with losing weight, being trim and stuff like that. But if I was to say to you, would you like to feel more vitality? Would you like to feel more alive, have more energy to do the things that you want to do, to have fun and enjoy what your body can offer you? A lot of people would agree with wanting to be more, have more vitality. So you may not notice it day to day, but when you look back after a year, you might feel stuck in a body that no longer supports the life that you want. Financial consequences. Money often triggers anxiety. This is a really big topic at the moment for a lot of people. They really are struggling financially. It's very difficult to see people struggling, using food banks, falling into debt, paying bills. Avoiding budgeting because it can feel overwhelming, delaying conversations about salary, debt and investment. Short-term relief is real. You don't have to think about the numbers. You can receive the bank statements, shove them into the drawer, stick your head in the sand like an ostrich. But the long-term costs are significant. Late fees, penalties, interest charges. Big one, lost opportunities to save, invest and grow wealth. Stress that compounds as finances become harder to manage. So avoidance steals that financial freedom. What feels like escaping pressure today is actually building a heavier financial burden for tomorrow. Another one, relationship consequences. With social media and TV, it's so easy to spend the day at home behind a screen. We don't always need to contact anyone or communicate with someone. Relationships thrive on communication, honesty, and presence, and avoidance undermines all three. We avoid difficult conversations with the partner, putting off reconnecting with a friend or a family member, and withdrawing instead of addressing hurt feelings. Short-term benefit again avoids conflict, tension, or discomfort, but long-term outcome is erosion. Trust is weakened, distance grows between people, and resentment builds beneath the surface. So avoidance steals connection. Left unchecked, it can cost relationships altogether. Let's have a look at opportunities. This is a real big one. Life is slipping by. We're already into nearly the final quarter of 2025. 9 months have gone. Most people don't even realize where the year's gone, and we've only got 3 months left to the end of the year. Most people's New Year resolutions are in the past. They forgot what they actually wanted to do. Maybe they wanted to start a business. So many things. So opportunities often come with uncertainty, risk, and a fear of failure. Avoidance keeps you safe and stagnant. Not applying for jobs or promotions, delaying learning a new skill, avoiding public speaking or leadership opportunities, stepping up to the plate, taking a project on, trying something new. Short-term avoidance saves you from rejection. It's a big one, isn't it? Rejection. Someone saying no to what you're offering. Embarrassment or effort. In the long term, it costs you growth, advancement, and experiences that could transform your life. So that's basically what we're looking at with the cost of avoidance. Now, these were practical exercises, and with these exercises, right at the bottom of the blog post, it hasn't updated on here, but there will be links to the worksheet. If you can't find it on here, I'll show you where else you can find this. If you go to Facebook and you go to Adam Ahmed Coaching, I've uploaded all the files for the worksheets for Module 1 and Module 2. So everything is listed on the worksheets on the Facebook. If you're in the WhatsApp group, then they are available on there as well. Let's see if it comes up on here. So if we try and refresh it, let's refresh this because I think I did upload these. So yeah, it doesn't look like it's uploaded at the moment. I'll make sure these are done. There's 5 exercise worksheets there. Let's see if there's another way I can show you what these are. Here we go. This is on the Google Drive, and I'll put the links onto the Google Drive, but there's 5 exercise worksheets for Module 2. And when you go through the worksheets, if you're struggling to do it by yourself, send me a message, post it in the group. Unfortunately, most people will avoid doing the work of avoidance because when you look at the worksheet, you'll think, I don't know what to do here, or I haven't got the time. But it's so important to start breaking that cycle. First worksheet is a reflection prompt that asks you to take 5 minutes to have a look at avoidance in each area of your life and how it's affecting you. The second one, the cycle of avoidance, has a look at how you actually avoid it in your own life. Which tasks trigger discomfort? How does avoidance give you relief? How does frustration build up? What happens when you only put half-hearted effort in? How does it contribute to more avoidance later? In the following exercise, mapping your avoidance cycle, you pick a task that you're avoiding and you write down what discomfort does it trigger and how you avoid it. How does it feel after avoiding? Because this is the thing, when you avoid something, ultimately the feeling that you have afterwards is not really conducive for you to actually taking the task on. What actually happens when you finally do the thing that you're meant to do? What relief does it bring? What rewards does it bring? There's a reflection question there on trying to identify how regularly you actually practice avoidance. But part three is the real big one. One of the most overlooked costs of avoidance is not just the extra effort later, but the missed rewards that come with action. The relief of clearing it off your mind that you've actually done the task. In the visualization exercise that we did during the workshop, imagine yourself in a year's time, how it's going to be if you avoid tackling the things that need to be tackled, whether it's health, wealth, or relationships. Will they deteriorate? Will you find yourself in a worse situation? Now imagine the opposite, that you actually start doing the things that you need to do. How much better is your life going to be in a year's time? Then expand that out to 5 years. If you started taking control of the things that you needed to do, how much better is your life going to be in 5 years' time? Ultimately, a lot of what these workshops are about is managing your state and manage your emotion and learning how your brain works. So if you can figure out how avoidance impacts you, and that's what this is really about, is awareness, understanding, you can reduce the amount of times you avoid things, and you can start putting the effort in to integrating the learning so that you start moving towards the goals and the things that you want to achieve. Improve your finances, improving your health, improving your relationships. So closing thought, avoidance might feel like a small act in the moment. It's effectively stress. The avoidance is a stress relief mechanism. Over time, it's one of the most expensive habits you can keep, but bringing awareness to its true cost, you begin to loosen its grip. You might feel discomfort when facing difficult tasks, but now you've got powerful motivator, the understanding that every avoided action is a choice to sacrifice your future. In next week's session, well, we'll follow this up on Wednesday. If you're struggling to find time to do these exercises, join on Wednesday at 7 o'clock. We'll spend 10, 20, 30 minutes just going through even one or two of the exercises to get you started. And then next week we'll shift into practical strategies for breaking the avoidance cycle and building new habits of engagement. This constant growth, this constant improvement, it doesn't stop. 10 years I've been doing this, but I'm getting the rewards. I'm getting the rewards in my health, I'm getting the rewards in my relationships and in my finances, and I'm sharing my approaches, so hopefully you can get the rewards as well. So that's another session for me, another presentation done. I will check in with you again on Wednesday on the Zoom session, and if you're joining in the in-person workshop, I look forward to seeing you on Saturday. Thank you very much. Take care and hope you can make progress.